Hello everyone, welcome to today's session. Today we are going to discuss about the 4-day work week trap. Why 63% of companies fail without these three systems. Are you ready? Let's deep dive into the session. Let me tell you about a company that thought that they had it all figured out. Mid-sized SaaS company, 120 employees, remote first since 2021. Progressive leadership team, they had read all the headlines about 4-day work weeks boosting morale and retention. So in January, they made the switch. Friday offs, same pay, same expectations. By the end of the Q1, their productivity had dropped 28%. Yes, 28%. Sprint velocity down, customer response times up, project delays piling up. And here is the kicker. Employee satisfaction actually decreased, the very thing they were trying to improve. Now, you might think this was just one company that implemented the execution. But our data tells you very different story. We analyzed over 200 companies across 18 industries over a 24 months period. And here is what we found. 63% saw productivity decline within the first 90 days. That means only 37% maintained or improved their output. So what's happening here? Is the 4-day work week just a nice idea that doesn't work in practice? No, that's not it at all. The problem is that most companies treat this as HR policy change. They announce it, they update the employee handbook, they block off 5 days on the calendar. Done. But the 37% who succeed, they understand something critical. This is not HR challenge, it's an operations challenge. Over the next few minutes, we are going to show you the 3 measurement systems that separate the winners from the losers. The specific metrics that the 37% track religiously, and how you can use workforce intelligence to make a compressed work week actually work. Not just for morale, but for your bottom line. Because when you done right, the data is compelling. But first, you need to see what you are actually working with. So, we studied 47 companies that attempted compressed work schedules over the past 18 months. And here is what stopped us in our tracks. The companies that failed had something in common. Actually, they had something missing. They had no idea how their teams actually spent time before they made their change. Think about that. Think about that for a second. They were trying to compress their work week without knowing what they were compressing. 78% of the companies that failed had zero time tracking or productivity measurement systems in place before the transition. They were flying completely blind. Let me give you a real example. We work with a digital marketing agency in Austin. 34 people, their leadership team was convinced their designers and operators were putting in solid 44 weeks of productivity work. That was the assumption. So they built their 4-day plan around compressing 40 hours into 32. The math seemed simple, but when they actually measured workflow before implementing the change, they discovered something shocking. Their team was only doing 23 hours of actual focused work per week. Yes, 23 hours. The other 17 hours, you need to understand. The meetings that could have been emails, context switching between 12 different tools, waiting for approvals, hunting down files in 3 different cloud storage systems. They were about to compress 17 hours of waste into shorter time frame and wonder why everyone burned out. And here is the thing. This agency's leadership was not incompetent. They fell for the same assumption most of us make. We assume people know how they spent their time. Research from the Bureau of Labor Statistics shows people misestimate their time usage by 40 to 60%. Your team thinks you are spending 4 hours on deep work. The reality is, any guesses? Yes, the reality is it's closer to 90 minutes. That's broken into 12-minute chunks between interruptions. So, when you compress schedules based on gut feel, you are not compressing productive work. You are not compressing productive work. You are compressing meetings. You are compressing context switching. You are compressing inefficiencies and calling it productivity. The companies that succeeded did something different. Before they changed anything about their schedule, they spent 3 to 4 weeks measuring 3 specific systems: time allocation, work patterns, and collaboration overhead. They created a baseline. They understood the difference between being busy and being productive. And that visibility changed everything. Let me show you exactly what they measured and how. Before you can compress anyone's schedule, you need to answer one fundamental question. Where does the time actually go right now? And here is the thing most leaders get wrong. They think they know. They will tell you, our team spends most of their time in meetings, or we are mostly doing heads down development work. But when we actually measure it, they are off by an average 37%. Yes, 37%. That's not a small margin of the error. That's a big difference between the success and failure when you are trying to compress schedules. Let me give you a specific example. A 180% technology company in Austin came to us wanting to move to 4-day week. Their vice president of engineering was convinced that the main problem was interruptions from customer support tickets. So we ran baseline activity intelligence for 6 weeks. And yes, support interruptions were there, but they only accounted for about 90% of lost productivity. The real culprit is, any guesses? Yes, status meetings. This company had accumulated 37% of their total work time in redundant status meetings. Weekly teams syncs that cover the same ground as daily stand-ups. Their total work time in redundant status meetings. Weekly time syncs that covered the same ground as daily stand-ups. Project updates that duplicated what was already there in the project management tool. Leadership reviews that rehashed information from department meetings. So, what exactly should you measure during this baseline period? 5 core metrics. First, focus time percentage. How much interruption time does each person actually get for deep work? For knowledge workers, you want this above 40%. Most teams we measure are sitting at 23 to 28%. Second, meeting load. Not just total hours, but meeting frequencies, average attendance count, and percentage of meetings without clear outcomes. And the third one, context switching frequency. How often are people bouncing between applications, projects and communication channels. High switching rates destroy the productivity. We typically see people switching context every 4 to 6 minutes. That's unsustainable. Fourth, application usage patterns. Which tools actually drive work forward versus which one are just a productivity theater? And the fifth one is peak productivity windows. When do people do their best work? This varies by role, by person, even by day of the week. So that's system 1. Baseline activity intelligence. 4 to 8 weeks of measurements before you change anything, because you can't compress what you haven't measured. System 2. Real-time capacity monitoring. Here is the brutal math that kills most 4 days of week implementations. You remove 20% of available time, but the work, it doesn't magically decrease by 20%. It just sits there waiting to be done. And without real-time visibility into who is carrying what load, you are flying completely blind. Let me show you what that looks like in practice. A professional service from Chicago made this exact mistake. 67 people, mostly client-facing consultants, they announced the 4-day week initiative with great fanfare. Their team was excited, leadership was committed, but they had zero capability monitoring in place. What happened? Their consultants tried to cram 5 days of client meetings, deliverables, and internal work into 4 days. No one had visibility into who was overloaded. No one redistributed the work. No one identified the bottlenecks before they become breaking points. 6 weeks in, they reverted back to 5 days. So, what exactly should you be monitoring? 5 key metrics. Individual workload scores, so you know who is actually overloaded versus who has capacity. Team utilization rates, to see patterns across departments. Project timelines health, because deployed projects are your early warning systems. Bottlenecks identifications, those critical roles we just talked about, and overtime patterns, which tells you when the system is breaking down. This is where time champs capacity monitoring becomes essential. Our platform gives you real-time capacity dashboards that show workload distribution across your entire team. You can see utilization trends over time, and you get early warning signals when someone approaching overload before they burn out. So you have got baseline intelligence showing where time goes. You got a capacity monitoring showing who can handle what load. But there is a third system that absolutely critical, and most companies completely overlook it. That is system 3, output measurement framework. Now we get into the system that separates the winners from the casualties. Because here is the uncomfortable truth. If you are still measuring success by hours of work, a 4-day work week is literally impossible. The math doesn't work if you can't compress 40 hours into 32 if your hours are your metrics. The companies that actually make this work, they have made a fundamental model shift. They have stopped asking, are people working 40 hours, and started asking, are you hitting our output targets? Sounds simple. It's not. Here, why this is brutally hard for most of the organizations. When we surveyed those 47 companies, we asked them to define their productivity metrics. 63% companies couldn't give us concrete numbers. They used words like engagement and collaboration and productivity. All subjective, all impossible to measure. So here is the success framework. Before you compress anyone's schedule, before you even announce you are considering it, you need to clear output metrics for each role and team. For engineering teams, story points completed per sprint, bug resolution time, feature completion rate, code review turnaround. For sales team, deals closed, pipeline velocity, proposal turnaround time, customer meetings held. For content teams, pieces published, editorial calendar completion rate, revision cycles per piece. For support teams, ticket resolved, first response time, customer satisfaction scores, resolution rate, concrete, measurable, track weekly. So let me show you what this looks like in practice. 200% software company, mix of product engineering and customer success teams. Before they even mentioned a 4-day week, they spent 6 weeks establishing output business lines. They tracked story points per sprint for each engineering pod. They measured bug resolution time across severity levels. They documented features completion rates against roadmap commitments. Then they compressed the schedule. But here is the critical part. They maintained the same output targets, same story points, same bug resolution standards, same features velocity. Week 1, any guesses on output? Output dropped 11%. Week 3, still down 9%. The CEO was sweating, but they did build the infrastructure to see exactly where the bottlenecks were. By week 8, they were back to baseline. By week 10, they were 8% above their original productivity metrics. Yes, this is the pattern we see consistently. Successful implementation experiences a 10 to 15% output dip in weeks 2 through 4 of the transition. Then recovery, then improvements. Usually by week 8 to 10, they are exceeding the baseline. But you only see this pattern if you are measuring output weekly with the trend analysis. So here where it gets interesting. When we analyze our 47 companies, we noticed something striking. 37% succeeded spectacularly. The rest struggled and outright failed. We dug into the data, looking for the difference, and what we found wasn't about the company size or the industry or even the budget. It was about timeline. Yes, it was about timeline only. The companies that failed, they rushed implementing 2 to 4 weeks. Leadership made the announcements, flipped the switch, and hoped for the best. The companies that succeeded, they took 10 to 16 weeks with a specific phased approach. And here is the stat that matters. Companies following this phased approach had an 84% success rate. Companies who rushed it, 22%. Let me walk you through exactly what they did. Phase 1 lasted 4 weeks. And here is what surprised. And here is what surprised us most. They changed absolutely nothing. They just measured baseline activity tracking only. No policy changes, no schedule adjustments, no pressure. Phase 2 ran 3 to 4 weeks. This is the optimization phase. Now they acted on what they learned. They eliminated low value activities, redistributed workload based on the actual capacity data, Streamline meetings, no schedule comparisons at phase 3 was 2 to 3 weeks. The pilot program, they selected one team or one department. Tight monitoring, daily check-ins, rapid adjustment based on the real-time data. Phase 4 is ongoing, full rollout with continuous monitoring and monthly optimization reviews. Let me give you a real example. A financial services company, 340 employees, complaints heavy environment with high pressure deadlines. They followed this exact phased approach. 4 weeks baseline, 4 weeks optimization, 3 weeks pilot with their operations team, then full rollout. The result, they achieved a 4-day work week with an 11% productivity increase and 47% improvement in employee satisfaction scores. Their CFO told us, we almost did not do the baseline phase. We thought we know where the problem were. We were wrong about nearly everything. But here the factor that separated the absolute winners from the everyone else, that is communication. Successful companies share data weekly with their teams, dashboard accesses, open metrics, transparent progress updates. They made the transition collaborative, not top-down. The key differentiator, winners treated this as a continuous improvement process, not a one-time policy change. They did not declare victory and move on. They kept monitoring, kept adjusting, kept optimizing. Because here is what the data taught us. Workforce comparisons is not a destination. It is a system. And system requires ongoing attention. So let's talk about what happens after implementation. Alright, you have seen the data. You understand the 3 systems. Now here is the question everyone asks. Where do I actually start? And here is the most companies get wrong. They start by announcing the new schedule. They pick the data off, they send the all hands emails, and they scram to figure out if it is actually working. That's backward. The companies that succeed start by building measurement infrastructure first, not schedule changes. Yes, infrastructure. Here is your exact 30-day roadmap. Week 1 through 2, implement activity intelligence tracking. This is your baseline phase. Time chunk deploys in under 2 hours with zero disruption to your team workflow. Week 3, share initial insights with the team leadership. By now, you have got 2 weeks of solid baseline data. Week 4, set up capacity monitoring dashboard and define output metrics for each team. Week 5 and beyond, begin your optimization phase. You haven't changed anyone's schedule yet, but you will likely find 10 to 15 hours of efficiency against just from eliminating the waste you discovered in week 1 through 4. A marketing agency we worked with found 14 hours of week efficiency improvements before they touched their schedule. They cut redundant approval process, consolidating 3 tools into 1, and eliminated 2 recurring meetings that serve no purpose. 14 hours, no schedule comparison required. Time Jump gives you all the 3 systems in one unified solution: activity intelligence, capacity monitoring, and output measurement. Not 5 different tools you have to integrate. One platform, 1,200 companies across 127 countries use Time Champ to optimize team performance. Average productivity growth 56%. And because we know you need to ask GDPR, HIPAA SOP 2 and ISO 27001 certified. Yes, we are certified. And enterprise grade privacy and compliance built in from day one. So here is your actionable takeaway. Before you implement any flexible schedule policy, answer this question with data. How does your team currently spend their time? Not approximately, not based on what you think happens. Precisely, if you can't answer this question with specific numbers, you are not ready for schedule compression. Full stop. Visit timechamp.io to see how workforce intelligence creates a foundation for flexible schedules that actually work. Book a demo to see your team's productivity patterns in real time. Because the 4-day work week is not a schedule decision, it is a data decision. And now you know exactly how to make it. Please scan the QR code to book a demo for you, book a demo for your organization, and to check your data. Thanks for joining the session. See you again.